Folks, we have a great guest with us. We're going to talk about a new single and a new album that's coming their way, the William Pilgrim and Grows Up. And they have a great new song coming out. It actually came out yesterday. And we'll get a chance to talk to Philip Romero about it. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much for fitting this in, and want to get right to it because In the Streets, I guess, debuted yesterday. People can check it out on your website. But tell everybody a little bit about the new song and what they're going to expect from the new album that's coming this way.
In the Streets is a song that Ish and I wrote about life on the streets in Los Angeles. And we kind of show the gritty nature of what's going on over there. And we were lucky to have the Blind Boys of Alabama join in and help us and lend their vocal talents. So it was a great experience to record that song.
Well, and Ish can personally attest to that, right? Because, he spent years, homeless on the streets.
He did. He was born into circumstances that led him to the street and did not provide a lot of alternatives to it. And so he brings that with him in his songwriting.
What is it about the homeless situation that you think the song really can kind of bring to light?
It basically reflects the human nature of it. Sometimes we travel and we don't even see the plight of the homeless that are right in front of us. And what we try to do is bring a human component to it and express it in a way that is relatable to people who may not have first-hand experience with that type of problem.
I love your music. I really been kind of mingling with some of your stuff for years now. I was trying to dabbling with this, dabbling with that kind of thing, and I just love that it doesn't have a sort of cookie cutter feel, a cookie cutter sound. It's a little bit of that soul and blues and funk and a little bit of that. Do you have a little way of describing that to somebody when they ask, what kind of music is it, or what kind of music do you play?
We describe it as Americana with 60s soul. So that's kind of the genre that we occupy. And within that, I'm more of the country influence within the group, and Ish brings that soul funk as you described into it. So our music is really just a blending of those really dissimilar styles, and what you get is the music of William Pilgrim.
Well, the Grammy Award-winning Blind Boys of Alabama have been around for a while, and how did you end up connecting with them to join with them and partner to bring together what a great song?
We called them up. It was that simple. We have been really on the forefront of the homelessness issue here in Los Angeles, and we've been working with a lot of different nonprofits here, and in doing so, it's given us a certain degree of attention, and we use that attention to promote that song and to bring it to the attention of the Blind Boys and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And with their long history fighting for civil rights and being very, very active in the 60s, it was something that was really in their wheelhouse, and they really wanted to be part of it. So that's how that came about.
Your first album, The Great Recession, is going to be followed by this one. It's called Epic Endings, and it's due out in August. I don't have an exact release date on that. What's the release date on that, Philip?
I believe it's August 26th.
August 26th. All right, folks, you can pencil that in. And what you can do, if you don't want to wait or you want to Google, we'll put a link to it or embed it there. William Pilgrim, all one word, .com/media. That'll take you to a page where you can actually see the In the Streets video for yourself and get a little taste of the 60s soul in America kind of vibe there that Philip was talking about. And the one thing is when the visual started, I wasn't quite sure exactly what the theme of the video was going to be, because it seemed almost like it was going to start dealing with maybe gang violence, gun violence, those kinds of things, because some of the imagery kind of starts off a little bit like that.
It does, and what we're really trying to show is that sometimes, despite all your best efforts, things still progress in a way you do not want them to go. And in the video, we highlight a young couple who is trying to avoid the street and trying to do everything right, and despite their best efforts, they keep getting brought back down to the street. And that is kind of one image within the lyrics of the song that we're trying to demonstrate within the video.
And I know in the music we're trying to really kind of bring some awareness and get some involvement. I find this to be very contradictory to a message that we're kind of sending in other parts of our society. We're trying to get more secular. We're trying to get away from church being so involved, creating sort of a separation, a bigger separation there. Yet they have the longer track record of reaching out to local communities and bread lines, feeding the homeless, those kinds of things. How do we sort of reconcile these two situations together?
I think they're just one of the same. It's been said that if you didn't have religion, we would invent it. And I think religion is just an extension of us as humans, a way for us to get through the day, just like our beliefs are. And so I don't see a distinction between it. And I think that whatever your course, whatever your path is, whatever your belief system is, I think that we need to evolve as a more inclusive species, that we have to learn how to value the least of us if there's going to be a hope that we're going to grow into our ideals. And that's kind of our message. And however you get to that, whether that be through spirituality, religion, politics, I think eventually we're all going to have to end up, in that direction.
Well, Philip just stole one of my big talking points that I use all the time, folks, that we are responsible for taking care of the least of these. I talk a lot about children. I talk a lot about elderly. We talk a lot about the injured, those that come home from war that are maimed or paralyzed. And this is probably the biggest call as a human being, in my opinion, in our life. Whether you are spiritual, religious, or not, it really doesn't matter to me. And I know where my faith is, but to me, that's not a requirement. And your music just really echoes that on the first album. And are we going to see and hear more of that with Epic Endings? Are we going to have a lot more of the same theme? And what are some of the things that you can preview for us?
The album itself is rather diverse, and we tackle a lot of themes, but we do them generally through storytelling. We like to tell tales and let the listener read into that tale wherever they are at within their own life. So that's the consistent theme throughout the album.
Is there one particular song from the Great Recession that you still are just really so proud of, that's still just sort of just the one everybody talks about maybe, or just one that you personally just, you can kind of hang your hat on that one a little bit?
Well, the Great Recession, that album is a byproduct of, the economic and financial disaster that we, had brought to our attention in 2007, 2009. So in that time frame, war was really a predominant theme, and we dealt a lot with that with two different songs, one being Farewell, which dealt with soldier suicide, and the other one called Soldier's Tale, which basically dealt with soldiers joining the military because of lack of other options. So either of those two songs, I think, are probably fairly representative of that time and of that album.
Well, it's definitely very poignant music and very, very, very influenced by the late 60s style of message, lyrics, and very powerful lyrics to speak to your heart and your soul. And that to me is one of the things that the William Pilgrim and All Grows Up really brings to life, Philip. And I couldn't encourage you enough to continue, that kind of guidance and that kind of stuff. So,
thank you.
Give us a little bit more about how other folks can connect with you and learn a little bit more about the band besides just WilliamPilgrim.com.
The other place I would encourage people to go to is liveicehouse.com, and that is our studio, our working studio. And what we do at Live Ice House is that we bring together like-minded artists who are looking to use music as a means to influence positive discussion and social change. And we film these events, and we have poets and painters and various other people through different means that are trying to better their community. And what we find is that people are more open to ideas when they come through art than they would otherwise be if we were set out to have a political discussion. Political discussions generally just polarize people into their own pre-existing belief system. But art has a way of breaking through, and that's what Live Ice House is all about. So that would be another place I would encourage people to go.
And let me just piggyback on that, because I really couldn't agree more. And you know what? I just don't really care about the political drama of all this. I will say that I encourage more individual involvement in charities and outreach and that kind of thing, only because if you're relying on the government or the political tone of the day, if that political pendulum swings opposite to your beliefs, then maybe you'll be less likely to do the things you're supposed to be doing. So I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's one of the messages that I kind of have taken to the streets with.
I agree. The answers will not come through government. Government is just a reflection of our current beliefs. And unfortunately, some of our beliefs are things that we don't want to necessarily address. So the answers are going to come through us. We have to organize. We have to participate. We have to be involved in our own democracy if it's going to work for us. So the government is just an extension of what we are. And if we don't like the way that things are going, we are going to have to change that. And that's what we believe. So never miss the opportunity to participate in a protest of any kind. Volunteer to the cause that speaks to you, and do whatever it takes, but get involved.
Absolutely. And, it's just a great message, folks. You need to check this out. The new song is called In the Streets. You need to go to williampilgrim.com/media. I'll make sure we have a link to that, to our online version. If you're listening to this online, you can see that there. The new album is Epic Endings. That comes out at the end of August, and we're going to make sure we keep track of that, and then maybe we'll try to get that link in there as well. And you just need to check out some of their older videos, and go to liveicehouse.com and check out what they're doing. Philip Romero and Ishmael Herring are just doing some amazing stuff. And if you're a fan of the late 60s stuff like I am, an old Buffalo Springfield fan, that's one of my favorites. You guys kind of reek of that sort of powerful stuff, and I just loving every bit I've heard so far. So, Philip, I appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much, and I appreciate you fitting this into your schedule. And send my best to Ish, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
That would be great.
Awesome. Take care, sir.
Thank you.